Hello, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Today we're going to take a look at how to get through that season pass as quickly as possible. The first thing I like going over is the season pass. If you guys know or are aware of already, I've mentioned this before. At level 8 you get free ancient coin, which is 25 ancient coin, totaling up to, over the course of the whole season pass, an additional 250 free ancient coin if you don't go ahead and purchase the Plunder pass yourself. But if you do purchase the Plunder pass, you will receive an additional 750, totaling 1,000. Therefore, if you get to level 98, you will actually get all of your ancient coin back. Moving forward, I like to go through the top 3 items I think that were in the season pass. This one, honestly, pretty good. Level 91, the Shadow Foxtails, I do like them a lot. Level 33, this might be a hidden gem for some people if you skip past it, the Tide shirt. And of course, level 25, the Ninja Mask. I'm actually surprised to put the solo because it's going to be a pretty unique item, especially if you want to go ahead and go for a tuck. And 2 honorable mentions, level 51 Tide throwing knives. They're actually pretty cool. Reminds me of a ninja theme that the season pass has going on, as well as the Tide cutlass, which looks a lot like a katana, kind of a smaller version of one, but it still looks pretty nice. Now, before we start, one of the main things we're going to focus on is your crew size, because that's going to depend on what you have to do in order to get this done quickly. If you're solo, one of the main things I'll be focusing on are world events, and the reason for that is to give you a bunch of stuff, bunch of renown, all that stuff. The 4 best ones that you'll be doing as a solo will be the Skeleton Fleet, the Ashen Winds, the Burning Blade, and, call me crazy, Fort of the Dam. Now, the reason why the Fort of the Dam is so good, especially any crew size, is because it gives you a bunch of loot, bunch of renown for completing this. On a serious note, because this new season has to do with hiding and sneaking around, you're going to be extra careful while doing these. The reason why I would say still do these as a solo if you can every once in a while is because, one, it'll change up what you're doing. You don't have to just do the same 3 world events. But these are actually pretty quick if you do have certain tools, such as the Burning Blade itself. That's why you want to go ahead and do that. Not only does it still have the Chest of Fortune, it was rumored that the Chest of Fortune was going to be in Fort of the Dam, which would be very useful for larger groups because you'll be getting not only a bunch of accommodations done, but a bunch more money along with it. But the Burning Blade offers you the Chest of Fortune, the Burning Blade, and even some of the gifts that, you know, some people haven't completed any of those accommodations for a while. So it's a very easy thing to take down solo, I believe. A lot easier than taking on the Flameheart's Armada. But for the most part, I still like the Skeleton Fleet as solo, because if you go over to a Skeleton Fleet, as long as it's scaled to solo, these are still pretty easy to take down. Even as a beginner player, you just want to make sure that you're slow enough but not too slow in order for the galleons to stay next to you rather than go around you. But for sure, another useful tool, mostly on the outside, are going to be the C4 skeleton cams and or shrine/treasuries. These have access to a good amount of loot, especially if you're doing treasuries. You can even dive to these, but I still don't recommend it. I would just sail to them unless you're doing one little trick that I found out this season, which is you can go to the shipwright and buy some meat provisions, giving you a bunch of extra meat to cook up. Travel your way over to a sea fort, then use up all 4 of the stoves, maybe even your 2 of your own. Have 6 stoves on top of the fact that there's going to be some more raw meat inside of the actual sea fort itself. But as you guys will see, a common theme is you want to be doing as much as possible as you're sailing around. Therefore, if you're touching islands, collecting more loot, killing skeleton captains, going to shipwrecks, any of that stuff, fishing, cooking, everything will give you renown. You really want to be taking a look at these trials. You're going to be getting a lot more renown, especially from the seasonal trials. One of the easiest ones to do is going to be the maiden voyage. As always, they continue to put this one in here. It's very easy. It takes you about 5 minutes just to listen to the pirate lord himself and sail off back into the sunset. You can get grade 5 and other emissaries. That one's very easy to do, I think, as well as with now the raid voyages. If you need to specify a certain emissary, you could start off with a merchant dive, and instead of just going around looking for merchant quests in order to do. You can also, if you're in a guild, complete one of these, the greatest guild member. These are very simple to do. Now, on top of it, fighting phantoms, skeletons, and ocean crawlers along the way will probably be one of your biggest things. You definitely want to try to spread out what you're doing. The more that you're able to do, the more renown you're going to get. So, for example, if you haven't fought a Megalodon yet, you're going to get an extra boost for doing so. That goes with Krakens, that goes for any type of world event. So, although I said as a solo, you kind of want to stick away from certain world events, I definitely think it's useful to take a look and see if you can complete them at least once throughout your season. You're going to be getting a lot of extra renown just by completing it for the first time. I wouldn't sit there and stack Burning Blade Armadas as a solo, but I would definitely try to do at least one. Now, besides being a solo, one of the biggest things you're going to want to do is separate. So if you're a duo, brig, or galleon, you want to make sure that everybody is doing something. One of the biggest things I've noticed is the larger groups that you have, sometimes it takes a lot longer to get these things done because now everything is scaled to crew size. Therefore, if you're doing Fort of the Dam and only one person's actively doing it, you're going to have a lot more mobs and the boss is going to have a lot extra health. So it's not very useful to have people doing stuff that aren't really helping. So if you're really trying to grind through this, try to pick out a couple trials or events that you want to do on your own and go forward and get these done. But if you're fortunate enough to have people that are reliable to help you out, you can, one, get on a galleon or a smaller ship size, it doesn't matter, and spread across the seas. Get rowboats, go do sea forts while people are doing world events, do treasuries, stuff like that, will be able to respawn, not have to worry about dying, and or even worry about someone contesting you. So it is useful to sail around and look for somebody just to kind of team up with, and or you could dive into the same server if you guys know how to do that type of stuff. It is very useful to you know, be in an alliance. That's what we started off with and did. It seems very useful, and honestly, as the time goes by, because this took us 36 hours actually in order to complete this season pass, usually it takes a lot less. It was very nice to have company along the way. One of the other tactics we came up with, if you know, either one, your server's kind of dying off, there's just not that many people around for the day, you could stack the Burning Blade and Fort of the Dam at the same time. Now, the reason why it wasn't useful for me is because we were actually in a server alliance when we started off this season. Therefore, if the Burning Blade was active, no other world events would be. Though I did want to try it to see how it would work in an alliance type server, I definitely think it's better for one crew to do that rather than multiple. I think if you're going to be doing it, brig is probably the best size for it because the world event itself is not going to be that much more difficult, and you can keep 2 people at Fort of the Dam just in case some of the kegs blow up, and you always have the respawn point at the Burning Blade, which usually isn't too far, as you guys can see. Also, you can get some breaks and rotate in and out with what people are doing and the roles that they're taking that day. But the Burning Blade is very useful because if you stack it for a short period of time, you can go ahead and turn that into Reapers, get the world events started back up, but also just double dip. You can get a huge stack for them and a huge stack with the Burning Blade. But the last note I can make is honestly just go out there and have fun, man. I hope that, you know, this video has helped in some ways. It's not really intended on completing in, you know, a short period of time. Although we're able to, the reward of the season really comes with the people that you play and the experiences or memories you make along the way. Thank you guys again for watching. Much love. Take care, and I'll see you next time.